Okay, hi guys, this is Cheong. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the previous tutorial that I had taught you guys on the circular linear sketch pattern. Okay, so previously I ended on this part, like how you do these sharp pointy parts, and now I'll teach you on how to do the bottom part. So if you take a closer look at your hand crank torch, right? Wait a minute. There's this white color parts and the green color one. So I had taught you guys on how to do the green color part. Now I'll be teaching you guys on how to do the white color part. Yes, the gear, white color gear. So after you have do this part, you need to cut extrude the hole which is here. Let me zoom in. Yeah, it's here. Then, okay, I will close this. Then, wait, don't do that. Yep. So here you can see. Yeah, so you can see at this part, right? You need to boss extrude the part. Let me close this. This is for which area? I close it now. Okay, so if you take a closer look at the white gear, at the bottom part, you need to boss extrude. So, let me see. You can edit the sketch. Okay, so for this, you need to create a new sketch on this surface. After creating new sketch, you just need to offset entities, which is 1.15. After converting the entity and offset entity, you need to boss extrude. So how much did I boss extrude? I boss extrude 9.8. So, okay, so you can take a look at this part. These are the parts which is something like, okay, so for this part, right, we use the circular sketch pattern as well. Alright, so if you take a look at my sketch, right, it's 1.3 and 0.88. Then for this curve, right, I convert entity of this circle. Can you see? This circle. Then I use the trim entity tool to trim away the excess parts, which is here. Then where my arrow is pointing at, my cursor. Then you only need to draw one of these. Afterwards, you use the under linear sketch pattern, you use circular sketch pattern. You use circular sketch pattern, right? You press this, then press this. 3. Okay, so like what I had mentioned, the dot right here, you drag it down. Yeah, now can you see? You drag it down, the blue color circle here. You drag it to this point. Okay, so now you can see this. So if I'm not wrong, I did 10. Was it 10? Or was it 12? No. Yeah, it's either 10 or 12. You can estimate by yourself. So when you're done that, then you press tick. Okay, so after you do the circular sketch pattern, right? Exit the sketch. Afterwards, you boss extrude it. You boss extrude by 8.5. So after boss extruding it, right, you just need to fillet one by one. I fillet by 0.5. So you just fillet everything. Then ta-da! You're done with this part. So the next part will be boss extrude. Let me see which part is this. Wait, was it this part? Okay, so afterwards you need to fillet this part. This was the next step. Then what is this? Okay, I think this one I can hide it. Okay, so next, let me know what to do. Okay, so the next part that I had done is, if you take a closer look, right, on top of the green color gear, you can see something which is a white color one, which is like when you touch it, the surface might be a bit oily, but it's something like a triangular gear. So for that gear, okay, so for this gear, right, you need to draw out the sketch. So these are my measurements. I use spline for this area and this area, and these two, can you see? These two lines are just drawn using normal line tool. So you just need to adjust accordingly for the spline area. Yeah. So afterwards, I boss extrude this part by 1.1. So after boss extruding, right, you need to cut extrude. Because there's a certain area which is like dense downwards, right? So for the cut extrude, what you need to do is you create a new sketch on the surface, then you convert entity. After converting entities, right, you just draw a construction line here. You can see like the construction line here. Then afterwards, after drawing the construction line, you just need to trim entities, trim away the excessive parts. Afterwards, you can cut extrude already. I cut extrude by 0.5. Okay, so for this area as well, you need to see there's a circle, right, for the joints to enter. So for this part, I also create a new sketch here. Then you draw the circle. So the circle, you just need to cut extrude as well. The circle is the distance from this area to the circle is 2.5. Then I cut extrude by 1. So afterwards at the surface, right, you need to boss extrude. Wait, let me see. Oh, did I do the other part? Okay, so for this part, right, the boss extrude, you just need to do the same parts for earlier. So this one will be, okay, so as you can see, these are the measurements. And you just need to repeat the same step like what I had done earlier for the bottom gear. Okay, you cut extrude, then do the circle, then you boss extrude again. So how much did I boss extrude? You boss extrude 1.1. So for the boss extruding part, right, for the circle just now you seen earlier, you just need to create new sketch on the surface, then you convert entity. Okay, so for this part, right, I just did like half of it. The top half, these two, then I mirror entities. So you just need to ensure that the distance, right, from this part to this part is 6.99, then 13.98. So that's how you do it. I use spline for one side, like I do like 1/4. You use a spline here, then you mirror across and adjust accordingly. So for this, I boss extrude by 1.02. Okay, so for this, right, for this area, I also boss extrude. So the radius of the circle is 1.38. And how much I boss extrude? I boss extrude by 0.7. So the same goes for this circle at the bottom. Let's see. So if you hide away the rod, right, you need to create a circle for this area as well. So in this sketch, on this surface, you create a new sketch, then you convert entity, then you cut extrude, which is 1.02. Then you need to do the one on top, right? There's what's it called? The circular sketch pattern again. So you create a new sketch, then you offset entities. you offset by 1 mm. So after offsetting, you need to boss extrude. You boss extrude by 3.4. Okay, so for this, right, this looks familiar, right? Because we did this earlier. I taught you guys. So for this, you just do the same. Just draw one sketch here, like this rectangle here. Then you use the circular sketch pattern, and yeah, I think you know how to do it already, right? So yeah, because I taught you guys like twice earlier. Then after you do the circular sketch pattern, you just got to boss extrude it. So you boss extrude by 3.33, so you can see from the side. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. So you fillet it to make it rounder and not that angularish. Yep, so that's all for today's video. This is the end of the tutorial for the gears part. I might be doing more for like the remaining gears, but yeah. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you. Bye. Stay safe, guys.